on our business segment, bringing to you national development, contributions by Nigerians in the diaspora. Undoubtedly, people in the diaspora have become a huge resource base for their countries of origin. This is in terms of financial remittances they make, human and intellectual talent, just to mention but a few. Nigeria has vast numbers of its highly skilled citizens abroad in Europe, the USA, and other continents of the world. The dilemma which still persists is why a country like Nigeria is still struggling to follow a clear, steady, and progressive development path. Its citizens across the world debate this and other issues constantly. In this broadcast, some of these diaspora Nigerians want to take care on in an active debate how they can effectively contribute to our national development. So our guest today, Philip Mosisi, is an international marketing professional with deep knowledge and experience of tobacco and consumer product industry across Europe and emerging markets of Africa. So Philip, welcome to Radio Voice of Naija. Say hello to all our viewers and listeners.
Thank you very much, Helen. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm looking forward to the various topics and the conversation we'll have.
Yeah.
And I'm also looking forward to the questions that will be coming through.
Okay. Well, our listeners, Mr. Philip is an expert in identifying consumer behavior patterns and preferences and transforming these insights into big picture strategies to achieve growth in either a new business or market context, business turnaround, or business growth environment. I was reading your CV, your profile in LinkedIn, and I said, wow, this is awesome. So once again, we welcome you to Radio Voice of Naija, and I appreciate all the genuine contributions you are going to make this day. Well, our next guest is, in the midst of men, you will always have a dynamic woman. Because, without women in the world, I wonder what the world will be like. Honey, what do you think?
Boring.
Oh, well, we have a charming, wonderful lady in the studio by the name Mrs. Vivian Iro Uchime. Vivi, welcome to Radio Voice of Naija show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Wow, awesome. Well, our listeners, Mrs. Vivian Iro is the principal partner at Vivian Legal Consult. She holds a master's degree in international and European law from University of Amsterdam. She is the coordinator, National Council for Women's Society, NCWS, Netherlands, in the diaspora. She was appointed a board member of Parish of the Blessed Trinity in 2008 for 4 years and was reappointed in 2012 for another 4 years. She is currently working as a volunteer with Doctors Van der Waal. Honey, welcome to Radio Voice of Naija show.
Thank you.
I hope it wasn't too difficult to pull you out from your cozy bed.
No, not really.
Or from the wonderful arms of your loving husband.
No. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you, honey.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I've come to love her so much because she's so open-hearted. Well, we have our third guest, and she's not even a guest anymore because she is one of our own as well. He is one of our own. So, he is a businessman among us. So, honey, I would like Mr. James Genekanwa. He is James Emeka Chukwu Emeka Genekanwa. Please say hello to Radio Voice of Naija listeners. You are a businessman.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, listeners. My name is Chukwu Emeka James Genekanwa. I'm a businessman based here in Netherlands.
Yeah.
And I'm also the PRO of Imo Citizens in the Netherlands.
Wow, the PRO
Yes.
of Imo Citizens.
Yes.
In the Netherlands. So
Yes,
in other words, if you are from Imo State and you've not
Exactly.
made contact with Mr. James Genekanwa, you are not known.
Exactly.
Is that what you are saying?
Exactly,
Yes.
Apostle. Thank you very much.
Oh, this is awesome. Well, we are set now for our questions for the day. I will start with Honorable Mr. Phil, who is in the marketing business. So why is Nigeria, the giant of Africa, still struggling to follow a clear, steady and progressive development path with its vast human, intellectual and natural resources? This question is open to any one of you as well. So in this panel, we are not going to be waiting, okay, this one answer, this one answer, this one. So if you think you have the answer, you just come up so that we can save some time as well.
I like to start to say that I have a personal belief why we're struggling to develop as a nation.
Yes.
My personal belief is, simply put, it's leadership.
Leadership.
And I'd like to elaborate on what I mean by that. The first thing is, I don't think for a lot of us, certainly for me, if I look at my background, how I grew up in Lagos and everything else, we consciously learned how to lead people. And I can remember my family background and all, and if I compare my experience then and my experience working abroad and internationally, particularly when I work with people who somehow have a knack of being able to lead people, inspire people. And I ask myself, where did my education go wrong? And sometimes I begin to blame my dad or my mom. How come you didn't send me to the right kind of school? But it's not that. I think it's learning how to lead people, how to inspire them, how to give people the opportunity to do that which they're very good at. It's not in our culture. It's a top-down dictatorial type of culture, and I think the starting point is how can you begin to encourage and give opportunities to the next generation to lead.
So if I can understand you very clearly, you are trying to say here that all these previous leaders we have been having are not actually leaders, is that? Or they lack the ingredients of leadership?
I think it's not black and white, because also leadership is in the role. You grow as you sit in leadership role, and I wouldn't say that the previous leaders didn't have any ability to lead, but I think the leadership I'm talking about goes beyond leading a few group of people. It's leading a whole nation with different interests and being able to bring about big changes that will benefit all. That means you're selfless. That means you're thinking beyond yourself, your ethnic group, or your association, or whatever.
Exactly.
That type of leadership, you need to learn it. You need to be in a particular setting where somebody models this, and then you see it happen, and then you grow with it. I do not think that has been encouraged. And I give you a few instances. There are a couple of institutions when I was growing up that were prevalent in Nigeria. You could talk about the Boy Scout, the Girl Scout. These were all leadership organizations. If you go back there, they don't exist anymore. So if you ask yourself, how do young people learn how to lead? How do they learn how to be selfless? What sort of avenues? I really don't know. And so if you don't learn that at a very young age and grow and learn from mistakes, by the time you get into a very big position where you have a lot of resources and a lot of people to lead, you're going to make big mistakes.
But the question is, why is it that our leaders are still falling into the same pitfall? Every single Nigerian leader have been falling into the same pitfall. So yes, it's open for every one of you, please.
Yes, my name is Vivian, like you rightly introduced.
Yeah.
Vivian Iro Ujime. I think because the platform has not been set. First of all, Nigeria, like they all call themselves, is a growing nation and is a third world country, which we'll understand. But when they do things, they do it incomparably to the West, and thereby making a lot of mistakes. First, they have to accept who they are, and they have to set up a platform for people to understand that this is how things have been, function in this part of the country, in this part of the world. Nigerian leadership, starting from what I know or what I can remember, has always been a tussle.
Yes.
Because in better part of the time, we've been governed under the military rule system.
Yeah.
Which is not democratic. Which, in the first place, that is not something that you want to recognize with. It is a government of power. It is a government of, vindication.
Yes.
So people come into power to use it to make sure that they vindicate others. And as such, people come into power in order to enrich themselves.
Yes, exactly.
They do not have your interest or mine at heart. So,
what do you to a layman that is out there listening to us right now? What do you mean by a government of vindication? What do you mean?
When you are governed by the military, when the military is in power,
Yeah.
we all know that. It is all about who do you know, what's your rank, who can you take care of. They know it, and that is why we strive to get into democracy. And in the past years, we've been governed by democratic elected government.
Yes.
And how much respect do they have for the people? That is a very big question. They do not. Because you have to, democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Yes, exactly.
So if you really define it the way it should be, there should be accountability.
But there's none.
There is none. There should be respect.
Yes.
And there is none.
There's none, no respect.
So until all these things are put into place, we'll always struggle with leadership. We'll always have problem with it.
So the young leaders, the aspiring leaders to our governmental positions are still hearing these things, seeing the pitfalls of our past leaders. Why are they still falling into the same ditch?
Yes, because government in Nigeria has become like a family business. It has become like a private business. You go, you run it the way you want, and instead of people to criticize you, ask you to resign. There are psychopaths all the places, singing your praises because of what they get from it. That is it. And if you go and you want to put the right thing, you want to do the right thing. To be honest with you, I won't tell you that there are no government officials who want to do the right thing. But people will not allow. How many people will allow them to do the right thing? No, they will not, because of their interest, because of what they gain from it.
But I think those who want to do the right thing, they are in minority. So when they see that they are not effecting the change, they join the people, they join the majority. So you are buying to what Mr. Philip have just said about lack of good leadership. That is the major problem.
It is.
Sorry, let me come in there, please.
Yes,
let me come in there.
Yes,
And that is where I just want to point out.
Yeah.
The direct thing is exactly what Mr. Philip said.
Yeah.
Leadership. Leadership in the wrong way. Leadership, not only those in government, leadership to family level. He made mention of when he was coming up, when he was growing. If sometimes he think if the parents have sent him to this school or that.
Yeah.
That is leadership. He made mention of Boy Scout and all those things. Those are things that breed us well in the way of leadership.
It's true.
Now, they made the government position as a family business. You see your son maybe who is destined to be a very good footballer, but because you are in power, you put him there. You make him commissioner or minister of this or that. That is not what he is supposed to be. You did not lead him in that direction.
Yes.
He was destined to be a footballer or a musician. Because you are in power, you made him a minister. What do you expect him to do? That is wrong leadership.
It's true.
Like what Mr. Philip said, it's all about leadership in the wrong way.
Okay. You see, from my youthful age, we've been hearing the case of leadership as a problem in Nigeria. And then, to my greatest surprise, the next leadership comes up, they take up the same mantle of the old. And it has just been like this. So what do you think that we can do different now? Those of us who are in the diaspora, how can we effect this change?
Sorry, I think first of all, for you to make any change, any positive change, you have to be part of the system.
You have to do what?
Be a part of the system to make a change.
Yes.
Because if you're very far and you keep saying, oh, they have to do things differently, they won't listen to you. We just got back from Diaspora meeting where everybody came up with so many ideas.
Yeah.
But yes, they don't implement it. This is the 6th Diaspora meeting that will be attended. But you could say that all the people that have been there for like 3 times, they said, look, it's the same story every year. They come, they put up a very good theory, and how do they implement those things? It does not work.
I thought.
So, but what happens is, like the present government we have now, there's so many flaws all over the place. But we as individuals too have to contribute to the betterment of Nigeria.
So how can we stay out of the contributing?
Yes, first of all, you start with yourself. when you make a change, you look into yourself and you say, who am I? What do I do differently? If you start with yourself, and Philip starts, on his own, and James starts, and we're all like form, you find out that we're all going through the positive, what we think is the right thing to do. In the end, those good ideas we have, or those good manners that we implement within ourselves, can be transferred to our children or to our grandchildren, and by the time you know it, that's about.
There we have a very long way to
go.
We
do have a very long way to go, but we have to start.
I was discussing with one of my friends, and then who is occupying a very, very prominent position. I was so shocked what she said to me. He said, "You diasporans have to leave us the way Nigeria is. We just love it the way Nigeria is.
Yeah.
We love ourselves the way Nigeria is. You don't bring your Westerner ideas and come to impact Nigeria. We love Nigeria the way Nigeria is." And this is somebody in a very strategic position who could have used her influence, to effect a change.
Yeah.
I was so shocked that she's now speaking exactly like the same people that we left before we came here. So even if you have all these multiple ideas, how are we sure that when we also put you in power, you will not be corrupted like that? Because, it's going to take hundreds of people to be able to effect a change. It's not just a one-man affair.
Let me come in there. I believe that the welfare of Nigeria is and should be the priority of every peace-loving Nigerian.
Yes.
And there are many ways we in diaspora can be involved in the welfare of Nigeria.
Tell us.
But for example, let me take for example, media.
Yes.
How many Nigerians in diaspora do listen to informative radio stations and televisions?
Yes.
How many, if not football and the movie channels? Let's tell ourselves the simple truth. The change we are talking about is not a mileage. We can effect change only when we walk in the right direction. When we do what we are to do, what we are supposed to do. For example, Ghanaians, our neighbors.
Yeah.
90% of Ghana in Netherlands know the time of their radio.
All the time.
And I can bet you at least 60 to 70% of them listen to their radio on daily basis.
Exactly.
They make calls. They call.
Yes.
They contribute to even to governmental level.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Boys down on
But
the boss.
us, all we think about is money,
Business.
money, business, money to whom? Let's be realistic to ourselves. And secondly, I believe it's hard time. Politics, they said, politics is the powerhouse to change and the welfare of every country. I believe it's high time we in diaspora get really involved in politics if we need to effect the change. Because if we don't have our strong root in the government, how can you effect the change? How can you contribute to the welfare of the people? Let me say, for example, before we start, the first caller that called happens to be a clergyman.
Yes. Even in New again. Not
Other people's, every other people.
even in Amsterdam.
Where are our brothers and sisters in Amsterdam? They are all sleeping. After heavy load of Hennessy and wine. I'm telling you the truth. I'm there. But this is one particular means we can effect that change.
Through the media.
Every time we put every blame on the government, who are the government? Is it not me and you?
Yes, when we begin to speak
When we
out.
start voicing out our mind, when we start contributing, when we rise up and take that mantle and voice out, the government have no other option than to listen to us.
It's true.
I personally believe that the change we are looking for is in our hand.
Yeah.
And until we start these basic things, it's not far, it's not a mileage. It doesn't take 1 million people to effect change.
Yes. And I strongly buy to what you are saying, Mr. Genekanwa, because we were just coming out from the Nigerian sister diaspora meeting or seminar, and we found out that Nigeria will have remitted so billions. Nigerians in the diaspora have remitted so billions as our contribution for the nation for the year 2013. even the half of the year, we've already remitted money in billions, as they made us to understand. So we in the diaspora have a voice. If we begin to say what we do not want, because we have our money, we can easily effect a change in the hearts of even our people. Yeah. Our people home, we can easily influence them, because when you have the money and you are sponsoring them and you are saying to them, these are the people I will want you to vote in for, they will surely obey. So if we do not make use of the media, as Mr. Ginekamba is saying, we will not be able to enact that change.
But just to add to that, I think you're absolutely right. We need to make use of the media, but again, you need to be a bit more specific. There are a couple of things. I like to say that one of the things I try and encourage my own friends that live here in the Netherlands is to get connected. And what do I mean? You need to get connected into Nigerians that live abroad. You need to know what's going on within that community. Whether you join a towns group or you join NIDO, or you, whatever, but you need to get connected. So you gather information and know what's going on.
Yes.
And then, of course, plugging into the media like this and listening to the debate and conversation like this is also a very useful avenue of knowing what's going on. I also think in getting connected, you will begin to identify the areas you have an interest in.
It's true.
Yeah, because it's not about us making a lot of hot air. You need to find what you're interested in, what you have a passion for. And once you find that, then you have to look for a group of people who share the same thing. And then you start thinking of, what can we do?
Yes.
I have to think about doing something small. You can't start thinking of changing the whole world overnight. Something small, and gradually you build from that.
The caller is coming, excuse me, please.
I just allow the caller to...
Hello? Yes. Yes, you can contribute.
Just guess microphone, guess.
We can't hear you very well, please. Yes, you said that one of the speakers was saying something on money.
Yes. I think one of the main problems is that we respect mainly only those that we want. Some are traditional respect that we give to people who are honest in our villages, even though they may not be rich, may not have anything. For the fact that they are honest, good people, we respect them. I think that attitude is gone. So everybody is looking for the money so that he or she will be given the recognition.
Yes.
I would like to make it about that we need to trust our own expertise. We need to have the courage that we are capable of developing our land as whole of Africa, as African. To give an example, I don't see why, up to now, we don't have any African company to take over the work of a company like Shell. Are we not having the brains enough? Are we not having the experts? I believe we have. So we should, courageous enough, take out this big project. Thirdly, so that our review continue is that we should let our people know that there's nothing extraordinary outside apart from the fact that they trust their own expertise. They make a discovery, they make it known to their trust in it. Don't look for some support outside. I think we are all so much looking for support outside. And we forget that we have all that we need. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, we
have to make
what
use of our own experts.
So, I think, let me come in there. I think from what he said, is the answer goes to what Mr. Philip was saying before the caller coming, that is getting connected. Like he expatiated by saying, if you find out your area of specialization,
yes,
you get connected to the people that share the same view with you.
Yes.
Then you can flow and walk.
You see that people are listening? You see that? People are listening. Hello, caller? Hello, caller?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Yeah.
I'm enjoying the
Yes. Okay, he said he's not from Nigeria. Do you see?
Yeah,
Mr.
we
Gilligan,
hear.
what you said is real. So he's not from Nigeria. He wants to contribute to the national development. Yes.
You see, you hear what he's right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Colonel. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you. Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Please,
I'd like
you
to
can-
add to what the last caller mentioned.
Yes, okay. After you,
No.
then Osolari wanted to ask a question. You can use this microphone and ask a question, please.
Very quickly, leadership also inspires people to want to do things. You have people would not wake up overnight and want to do anything for either a country or for a company or for anything without being, first of all, inspired in a certain way that makes them want to go
Yeah.
beyond just doing the normal. So while I do agree with the last caller, I think the leadership I'm talking about is broader than that. It also includes inspiring people to want to sacrifice and give back to their country, their community, and all that,
Yeah.
and not think about what they can get out of it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, I think-
Philip, I think I'm going to disagree with you on that particular note because, first of all, you have the determination. If I see this opportunity, this is what I'm going to do to this country. When you have that determination in you, and wherever the opportunity presents itself, you will be able to do that thing for your country. The government should not just be going to each and everybody.
Sorry, can I
you
come
know, the
into
fact
balance?
is that the fact is that I've read your profiles and I have questions for each and every one of you because given the opportunity, there's something you have which will benefit our country. So I would give you the chance, Osolari, to just ask your question, please.
Yeah, it was okay. I was to do that earlier. I know this is it's quite a difficult, tough issue because the whole problems are kind of multifaceted. But I think the bedrock of every society lies on integrity and truth and accountability. We spoke about leadership and the rest of that, and that is a part of it. I think those of us who are in the diaspora should begin to make some more noise. I mean, show that we are there. Most of us are pretty much isolated in our little cubicles and corners, and we're contented. And maybe once in a while we'll take a holiday down home. I think that is not enough. If we are to be taken seriously and to feel relevant to what's going on down home, then we have to get more forcefully involved somehow, either through our local town meetings or the other collective groupings that we have, and really make noise and let people hear that we are there, and also try and find a way to this accountability thing. We got to make it work somehow. Now, the point I want to make earlier is that the world has become very interconnected. The democracy which we are practicing back home is the same democracy being practiced here. The same degree we are collecting down home is the same degree being given here.
Yes.
So why is it that our political system, is failing? Meanwhile, it's the same thing we're trying to do here. So there's a break somewhere, and that we got to fix. Now, those of us who are here, who are, we're learning better ways of living and governing and all that, and working. We have to find a way to let that reflect down there where our people are.
But they're not giving you the opportunity.
Yeah.
They're not giving you. That's a problem we all are having here.
Yeah, I understand that. But I think we all know that they say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with what? One step. If we can do something little in our own little club or community meeting very well, and it's so efficient, there's no way it will not replicate when we take it down there. So we have to start from somewhere, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, then.
Yeah, I think people have good ideas they want to take back home.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there should be a platform where they have to start working from it.
Yes.
Okay.
First of all, when you leave the Netherlands and you're going, I live in the Netherlands, that's why I'm using Netherlands as an example.
Yeah.
And you're going back to Nigeria, where I'm originally from.
Yeah.
At the airports where you go, you'll be treated like a common criminal in your own country. The way they will say, bring your passport, hash voice, all those things
Yeah,
not in
yeah.
place.
Very
And
intimidating.
you see, if they do this to every other person coming in, I have nothing against them.
Yeah.
But there are people who are above the law in that same country.
Yes.
You will be on the queue, somebody else will come, and they'll take the passport from behind you
Yes.
and go and check the person out while you're still on the queue.
Yes, it's
So
true.
you see,
It's true.
just at the point of arrival, there is
Jesus.
no welcome for you. There is nothing for you to look up to apart from your family you're going to see. Now you get into the city, there is no good roads, there is no electricity.
Yes.
Nothing is working, nothing is in place. For you to get things done, you have to pay your way through all.
Every time.
So everything, and you're not sure of anything. The public transportation is waived out, and people don't see anything wrong with it.
No.
People even laugh at you if you think of taking off public transport.
Yes.
Because the idea is you have to have a jeep, you have to have a big car to beat the roads. You have to have generating sets. You have to
Yes.
have so much money.
Yes.
If not, you are not living.
So there is no provision
So
for the poor.
yes.
No middle class
When you
anymore.
are sick, when you're sick, your family members rely on your money for them to be cured. If not, they're going to die.
Jesus.
There is no good medical system.
Yes. Nothing
We
is
all know
nothing.
there is no good medical
Nothing
system.
is- there's no
but you
database
ask them,
because-
most of our people here in the Netherlands, Netherlands has signed a bilateral agreement with Nigeria, and they said, look, if you have somebody who comes to say, I'm a victim of human trafficking,
Yes.
or I'm sick as a result of this,
Yes.
bring them back. We have good medications for them. But it's not true. I just came back from Nigeria. I was in the general hospital where people are being treated. There was no electricity. They took the light out. People were there without medication for like 2-3 days.
It's true.
So until these things are put in place, I want to go to Nigeria, I want to establish, I want to do good things in Nigeria. But I can't do it at the detriment of my own life.
Yes.
So
Wow.
basic things have to be in place for us to work. That's what I think.
I can see you are raising your hand,
Yeah,
Mr. Gide from one bed. Is it possible?
Sorry, let me come in there.
Wow.
If we really understand what Apostle Larry said,
Yes.
journey of every 1,000 miles begins with
Wow.
a step. We cannot be shedding away from all these things.
Yes.
We want to start from somewhere. Like I said earlier on, and we said it here, we can start with our town meetings. Me, for example, I belong to Odolo Association
Yes.
here in Amsterdam. And I'm also a member of Imo Citizens in the Netherlands. We are now being registered with the embassy.
Yes.
And here in Netherlands, we said it does not concern us. We are not politicians, yet we allow politicians to take over everything from us, and we are still complaining about all these things. We will continue complaining until we start from somewhere, like Apostle Larry said. I said it's high time we all start joining the politics. We can start it here. There are parties here. PDP
Yes,
is
yes,
here.
yes.
APGA is here. ACN. They are
But
all.
we don't hear what they are
they
doing.
all
We
here.
don't hear. We don't hear.
You will not hear if you don't join any of the
But
parties.
they will stretch forth their hand to make noise, and then we know that they do exist.
Who is going to make the noise for them?
I mean, the PDP, the ACN, and the rest
You
of them.
are. You look for where you belong. Join them and start making the noise. When we join hands here, we make a very loud noise. Our voice can be heard over there, and before you know it, people in diaspora, people living in the diaspora, will start taking part in Nigerian politics heavily. It's not a mileage to say that maybe Nigerian constitution can change tomorrow, and you hear that Nigerians in diaspora will start voting.
Yes, they are planning. They are planning.
Once this, they are planning it,
Yes.
but everybody is just sitting back. Nobody is voicing out. Nobody is pushing it forward. If we continue pushing it forward, if all these things come to realization, you will see the change we are looking for. Before we know it, as my sister is talking about electricity, I believe if she has something to do with the government and have anything to go by with electricity, she will give a very good and steady power supply to Nigeria. But how can that be done if you are not on the same line with them?
And if you're on the same line with them, you cannot achieve your goals, I tell you this. Because they are there already, and they are working, and they've done it for several years, and it's not working. So how can you? And your own is difficult, but the only thing is that they have to put
no matter the difficult it is, we can still start from somewhere.
But most of the time, even in our town's meeting here, people only go to make arguments. So you don't see any refined character. You don't see anything tangible.
That's the point, because
people just go and waste their time.
Yeah, I
so
think
it's like the society we are in is not even changing us. We still carry the same mentality of Nigeria, you know, and come here. Look, we went to the diaspora, honey, excuse me. We went to the diaspora's meeting. Even when they asked us to queue up, this were diaspora, this were people who have been eating enough meat, enough chicken. You could still see that they go to the table and then they pack their food so surplus that we ended up every morning not even eating our breakfast, because by the time you reach there, it's already gone. People will pack and pack and pack more than what they can eat. So we were wondering, how come they still have this mentality? Now, you know what surprised us, what shook us so much, was that in the queue, some as the buses were coming to take us to Asher Rock, because they said we got to have the presidential dinner in Asher Rock. Is it what you call it? Asher Rock. So we got to the queue, and then everybody waiting for the queue. The buses were coming. People began to jump like Moluwe. They began to clap. Me and Vivian, we could not believe. And we asked, why are you jumping? They said, well, we still practice our conductorship lifestyle. They told us that. And these were the doctors and architects, so very renowned universities who have presented papers. So we were so shocked. So, you know, in the view of all of this, I just want to ask, each and every one of us, given the opportunity,
make a change within ourselves.
Given the opportunity, there's something we will want to change in Nigeria. Now, Mr. Philip, as a marketing professional, what would you change or improve upon in the way marketing is currently done in Nigeria?
That's a very broad. That's a very broad question. I think we should make it a bit more specific and bring it back to the subject matter we're talking about.
No, because we've been talking only about leadership. Yes. I wanted to ask specific questions in your area of specialty.
Well, to be honest, I think a lot of the marketing done in Nigeria is pretty good, comparable to what you get in Western Europe or in North America. It's even harder to do marketing in Nigeria than you would here, because here you have a lot of the data, the data to guide your decision making. In Nigeria, it's very difficult to get reliable data. That's not to say it's not possible. It is possible. There are lots of organizations that are out there to get it for you. But the point is, here it's readily available, easily accessible. And over there you have to commission it, you have to invest in it, and it takes time. And by the time you get your data, things have moved on. So, you know, you're playing catch up in a lot of ways. But I am aware a lot of the multinational companies that have best practice also do best practice, actually. I'm a product of one. I mean, the same thing we did. We did in Nigeria, we do in the Netherlands, we've done in the UK, and all. It's the same system and processes. So once you're part of that, you can easily. So the marketing in Nigeria for global brands are as sophisticated as you would find in any part of the world. The domestic and local brands are catching up. The reason is you have a good talent pool of Nigerians who've worked in multinationals, who are also starting up their own business or working for, you know, local companies. You also have a lot of talented Nigerians who've schooled abroad and worked abroad and are coming back home as a result of this recession. So the skill set and pool is really pretty high, and I have best friends who I respect what they do. So I would say the marketing in Nigeria is challenging, demanding, and I heard once that one of the multinational companies, if they want to develop their top talent, what they do is send whoever that top talent is to Nigeria to see if that person can really prove their skill, prove themselves there. And if they are able to prove themselves in that type of environment, then they know this person has what it takes. So if you get to know a couple of things like that, you know it's a good environment to work in. And it's tough, it's challenging, but you have a lot of Nigerians who are doing very well. And they also get seconded abroad. At the time I went abroad, there weren't too many, but now there's quite a lot of Nigerians who were living and working abroad because of the things they've done. So marketing is doing well in Nigeria, in my view.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say or add to what he has just said? Because I saw you raising your hand.
That's his question.
Oh, you're because we're doing like this. You're using like this.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. So, okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
To our legal consultant, Mrs. Vivi Iro Uchime, how do you think you can bring a change to aspects of the legal process in the Nigerian legal system, and what do you believe needs to be changed?
Just like Felix said about the business forum, I think for the legal system in Nigeria, I do not have much problem about that.
Really?
Because, yeah, it is very functional.
Really?
One, because we have a democratic elected government, in as much as there are a lot of bureaucracies all over the place that make some people a little bit above the law, but you can still hear people voice out. And this is the only system that do not believe in diabolism and all those things. The legal system is still good as it is, because with the way all those fetish things has eaten into the Nigerian system, it has not enrolled into the legal system, because we still work on facts and figures and evidences. And evidences are not vague. It's not like I died last night because somebody bewitched me. No. The legal system has not deteriorated to that extent.
If the legal system is working the way you are painting it, honey,
No.
why are you people not probing those who are trafficking our monies outside the country and rendering us hopeless? Why are you people?
That's what I
are you
just
part
mentioned
of
to you,
it?
that some people are a little bit above the law, and those, it's not that they're being proved, that most of them are being proved. You hear that they appear before the court, but somehow they are acquitted. That's just it.
So in other words, there's still
yes, because
high level of corruption.
That is what we're saying. You and I know there are a lot of level of corruption in Nigeria, and it's in every system, whether it's business, whether it's legal, whether it's medical, every system in Nigeria is corrupt.
Because I see in this part of the world that the lawyers are not above the law, so they support the law, support the economy, support everything. So when you witness law in Nigeria and you witness what is going on here, you'll be thinking that your lawyer didn't defend you, but your lawyer here will just do everything to support what is already in existence. But in the Nigerian practicing this, you see that
it's a two different system.
The way they argue, you say black and you're calling black a brown.
No, there's a position of the law that gives you room for that.
Right.
Yes, they don't only because
so to
when
those
you're in
who are
the
corrupt, to our corrupt politicians and our corrupt leadership, you still see lawyers who are defending them as if they've done nothing.
You still lawyers defend. Of course, you're liable to defend. Even here, people kill, and you still see people defending them like they've done nothing wrong. That's the way it is. Whether you like it or not, the law provides for defense mechanism for people, no matter what you've done, and for prosecutors as well.
Yeah.
So depending on how your defense lawyer is going to take up your case. So you might be lucky if your prosecutor is not well prepared, he'll find out that even you, and when everybody knows that you committed a crime, you can go scot-free as a result of either lapses in the law or you relied on some kind of
but what can be
defense.
changed?
What can be changed?
Yes, please.
Well, what can be changed is for things to be changed from the top so that nobody can be above the law. It's not just about the legal system already, but before they even enact the law, they should stop being defensive. Nigeria are very defensive in their attitude. Whatever that you put forward and say, this is wrong, the Nigerian government will tell you, no, we've put it in place, we've had it, we've done that, we've done this. If they can stop being defensive in their attitude and be a little bit proactive and be more listening to people, then things will work perfectly. That's what I think.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. And to our businessman.
Well, thank you, Apostle, and thank you, listeners. Well, as a businessman, I have the opportunity of meeting with characters and different kind of people on a daily basis. So, I myself, I make it a priority that they say charity begins at home. We'll start with ourselves. We'll start changing the mindset of our brothers and sisters. There is always a picture whenever our people is being mentioned. And wherever we go, we always show ourselves that way.
Yes.
So we start with changing ourselves, and we cannot do that if we don't come together. So we start it from our own local meetings. Let me take, for example, yesterday was our monthly general meeting of Imo citizens in the Netherlands. If you were there, you will see love in display.
Wow.
Now we start changing our mindset. We start educating our people on how to behave. When we started this meeting, from the beginning to the end of the meeting, drinking and eating galore. But now it's no more like that.
Okay.
Business first, we come, we discuss, how we exchange views, we'll talk about our states, where we come from, what our government is doing good and what they are not doing good, how we can reach them, how we can voice out. After all these discussions, then at the end of it all, if we have anything to eat, we
Yes.
eat. If we have anything to drink, we drink. Everybody goes home happy.
Yeah.
This is the particular side we are working on, so that we can be able to change that mindset, that way people look at us. We can be able to change, because when we have that change in us, the welfare of our people can be effectively be carried out by us. We can effect change in our community, in our state, in our country at large. Government do this. This is a laid down procedure. Pencil was made to use in writing. They put cleaner on it. There is something you can write. If you look it's not good, you turn and clean it up.
Yeah.
And rewrite it.
Mm-hmm.
So we can start from ourselves to effect that change. And when you get to that place and they tell you, no, this is the laid down procedure, you say, no, that is never a laid down procedure. We can change it. It's not good for us. Then you can stand your ground for the betterment of your people. So for now, we are working on ourselves. We are working in our community, in our state meeting, working on our characters. That is where we are working now. And I'm telling you that we are really, really doing good on that side.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. So before we sign up, I want to ask, how do you think professionals in the diaspora can be mobilized to impact developmental, how do you think that we can be mobilized to impact the developments that are going on in our respective villages and towns?
Yeah, thank you.
Any one of us?
Yeah.
Any one of you?
Okay, going back to what he said earlier on this show is about opportune people putting their own persons into power without considering whether they are qualified or not to do the job.
Yes.
So if we start putting the right people in the right places, I think things might be better than it is now. Not because we know somebody or because my brother or my uncle is the Minister of Trade or Minister of Information and I have to be there. No, just because you are an IT professional, you know so much about IT, and somebody said, okay, in information technology, he is very good, so we're going to have him. He's qualified, he's a skilled worker, and he has a lot of experience on that field. So the moment we start thinking on that line and start putting people, because when you're faced with what your challenges, with what you know better to do, you are your own, you be the one to assess yourself and say, this is my area of specialization. I should be able to come out best, you know. I don't have to wait for somebody else to do the job. So apart from me, because I'm the best chosen among the rest. So that challenge, when you started and every other person in practice in their own way, by choosing the best people that are qualified to do the job, and by ignoring, irrespective of who the person is, irrespective of where the person is coming from, I think that will go a long way to help.
Is it a doable venture? Or it's just something we are just speaking theoretically? Because all of us in the diaspora will want what you say. But is it doable considering the situation of Nigeria? You and I just came back from, 2 weeks ago.
To an extent, I would say it is doable, but whether they're ready to do it, that's what I don't know. Yes, it is doable if they accept to do it. But with that accept, will you ignore your own person to be able to get the specialist by the side to do the job? Is a very big question to be answered, and I cannot answer that right now.
Well, before we sign off, I would just need just one comment from each and every one of you. Just one comment. What are you saying to our listeners? What are you leaving behind as we round up this developmental project or section
All
or
right.
broadcast.
Thank you, Apostle. Please, just a little minute just to point on the last question you asked. First of all, I give credit to the organizers, the embassy, organizers of the business forum that took part sometimes ago. I was not a part of it, but I read about it and how it goes. It's a very, very, very good. To my own, more of such business forum is what we need. And the embassies, our embassy here is supposed to organize our communities. They have to start organizing our communities together, because if we are being organized together, I believe we can create a voice. We can create a voice. That is on that. But my advice to our listeners, my personal advice to listeners is this: before you effect a change, look inside of yourself to see if there is anything to be changed about you. That is just the truth.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yes, what you have. Thank you, Mr. Kinekawa. Thank you so much for being with us. Mr. Philip, please.
And very quickly to add to that, once you've defined that, see yourself as a change agent. It's not about what the big things. You are a catalyst for the bigger change.
Yes.
And that means get connected to a group, get information, get to know what is going on, define where your interest and passion is, and then start small and begin to do something. And over time, if we get as many people doing this, it will become a big crescendo, and we'll have this big change that we're all looking for in our country.
Thank you, too. And Ms. Vivi?
Yes, I should think is a negative and positive aspect of life. Just look at yourself and see where you stand at the moment, like everyone said, and say to yourself, no, this is what I'm doing wrong, and I have to do this right. And this is how I can be somebody in life without relying on anybody. And if you can make that change to yourself, I'm sure it will impact people around you.
Thank you, honey. I could say, Pastor Larry, you want to say something?
I would like, I believe, I was going to ask a question earlier, but now I can turn it to a statement or a remark. And that is, the different, town groups that are all over the place. Now, it's important for them to redefine their focus on what they are doing. Let's say that every town hall group has a particular objective, and that purpose is what's going to drive them, because it's not fun. I mean, it's not really useful only to gather to socialize. That's not what we need. We need people who have a purpose and they have a target. And let's say at the end of every year, every town group comes out with what they have achieved in terms of their purpose, how they want to impact the people back home. And that's what I want to see. And I want to suggest that they should take a look at their purposes and redefine them. Thank you.
Well, I thank God for what we've done today. But I want to conclude by saying that the Imo State Governor is really doing a lot, because I saw him beckoning the diasporans to come. To bring their ideas that they can do something about it. But I didn't see that with the Abia State Governor and so many other governors, and this is not a place to talk about them anyway. But on a nutshell, I want to say thank you to all of you. And do you think we can continue this sort of discussion from time to time, at least to air our view?
Perfect. This is all we need.
I think it's a good platform.
This is one of the ways we can effect that change.
I was so surprised some of those doctors that presented their paper in this last. They got a newsletter to this, and some of them reacted, and they were telling me, "Radio Voice of Naija, you are really doing great job, and we would like even to air our voice through your channel."
Yeah.
These were doctors in the diaspora, and they some of them from Oxford University. Those doctors that presented their papers, I was so surprised that some of them wrote me. They replied to the email, the email campaign we did regarding to this broadcast. So I was so surprised that they could even respond. So I think it would be nice to use this platform and use it very well to effect a positive change. So when Voice of Naija will throw our arms to call you, please feel free to
anytime.
People should stop whining. They should stop complaining.
Yes.
They should stand up for your rights. For their rights.
Yeah.
They should do that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
with us.